What if everything you think intelligence looks like is completely wrong? You've been lied to about what a brilliant mind actually looks like, not by anyone on purpose, just by movies, schools, and a culture that mistakes loudness for genius. The person in a room who says the least might be running mental circles around everyone else. And here's the thing, they'd never tell you. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might realize the most intelligent person you know is yourself. At the end of this video, you'll get a free self-assessment checklist to discover exactly how many of these habits are already hardwired into your brain. Stick around. This one will make introverts feel seen. Here's something that might hit close to home. People who score in the highest IQ ranges consistently report being more satisfied with time alone than with frequent socializing. A study out of the London School of Economics found a striking pattern. The smarter the individual, the less they needed social interaction to feel fulfilled. Why? Because their brain never actually stops working. When other people need external stimulation, a high IQ mind has already built an entire world internally. Solitude isn't their weakness, it's their laboratory. And once you understand why they're alone, you'll see what they're doing in that silence. Most people see something strange and move on. Highly intelligent people see something ordinary and can't let it go. It's not just big philosophical questions. It's everything. Why does traffic flow the way it does? Why does that person always order the same meal? Why does this social rule exist? And who decided it? Their brain isn't satisfied with surface answers. It's scanning for the hidden architecture underneath everything. Cognitive psychologists call this pattern hunger. And it looks a lot like restlessness, but it's actually a sign of a mind that's always alive. Curiosity drives the questions. But what they do next, that's where it gets strange. You probably laughed at someone for this once. If you've ever caught someone muttering to themselves and thought they were a little odd, cognitive science wants a word with you. Self-directed speech, as psychologists call it, is a genuine cognitive performance enhancer. It strengthens working memory, improves focus, and helps the brain categorize and organize complex thinking in real time. Children do it instinctively. Most adults suppress it to appear normal. But the ones with the sharpest minds, they never quite stopped. They just got quieter about it. Speaking to yourself is strength, but knowing the limits of what you know, that's a different kind of power entirely. There's a counterintuitive truth that took psychologists decades to properly measure. The more someone actually knows, the more comfortable they are admitting what they don't. The Dunning-Kruger effect proved that people with limited knowledge tend to dramatically overestimate their competence. Meanwhile, genuine experts see the complexity of their field clearly, and it makes them humble. So the next time someone confidently claims to know everything about a topic, pay close attention. And the next time someone pauses and says, "I'm not sure, let me think about that," you may be talking to the smartest person in the room. Knowing your limits keeps you sharp. But what about the mind that can't stop analyzing everything else? High IQ individuals often describe an experience others find strange. The inability to make simple decisions without running through dozens of possible outcomes first. Picking a restaurant becomes a matrix of 12 variables. Sending a 2-sentence email takes 20 minutes of wordsmithing. From the outside, it looks like indecision or anxiety. From the inside, it's a cognitive engine that can't stop stress testing scenarios. The same processing power that solves complex problems has no off switch. The gift comes with a tax, and that tax is that every small moment carries the weight of a calculated choice. Here's the surprising upside of all that analysis. It shows up somewhere completely unexpected. Humor isn't trivial. Creating or understanding a genuinely clever joke requires your brain to hold two contradictory ideas at once, identify where they collide, and produce a reaction faster than conscious thought. Research published in intelligence journals has found a measurable, consistent link between higher cognitive scores and more sophisticated humor processing. It's not just that smart people are funnier. It's that the type of humor they gravitate toward reveals how their mind works. The darker, the drier, the more layered the joke, the more likely you're watching a brain that operates at a different register. But the most overlooked sign of real intelligence, it's not what they add to their beliefs, it's what they're willing to remove. In most social environments, changing your mind is treated as weakness. You're seen as inconsistent, spineless, or unreliable. But cognitive psychologists measure something called cognitive flexibility, the ability to restructure your mental models when new evidence demands it. And it's one of the strongest predictors of real intelligence. Highly intelligent people don't hold beliefs like identity. They hold them like hypotheses, always ready to be disproved. The most dangerous person in any debate isn't the one with the strongest argument. It's the one genuinely willing to be wrong. And none of this is more clear than in when they're most active, which for many brilliant minds is long after the rest of the world has gone to sleep. If you've ever found your best thinking happens when the rest of the world is asleep, you're not an insomniac with a problem. You may be a high IQ individual with a chronobiology quirk. Evolutionary psychology researchers have suggested that individuals with higher cognitive flexibility tend to break away from the circadian rhythm patterns most humans share. It's not random. Their brain quite literally enters a different gear late at night. Less distraction, fewer social demands, a kind of mental clarity that the noise of the day actively suppresses. The ideas that come at 2 a.m. aren't accidents. They're when the engine finally gets to run clean. The night thinkers and the quiet observers, they share one more thing, and it shows up in every single social interaction they have. In group settings, the person who talks the most is often assumed to be the most engaged or the most intelligent. But watch the person who isn't, because they're not disengaged. They're reading the room at a level most people don't know is possible. They're tracking the micro expressions, the power dynamics, the way someone's vocal tone shifted when they mentioned a certain name. They're processing social data in real time, building a model of the situation before they say a single word. When they finally do speak, it lands, because it was built on observation, not reaction. And all of this, the solitude, the curiosity, the observation, it feeds into the final habit, the one that ties everything together. The 10th habit isn't dramatic. It doesn't show up on a test or in a conversation. It lives in the background, a low hum beneath every other behavior we've talked about today. Highly intelligent people carry a persistent, unresolvable question in the back of their minds. Why do we think the way we do? They're not looking for a final answer. They have already accepted there isn't one. They're looking for the process. The meaning isn't a destination. It's the act of searching itself that drives them. And now, I promised you something at the start of this video. Here is your self-assessment. Ask yourself honestly, how many of these 10 habits live in you? Not as performance, not as identity, as genuine patterns in how you move through the world. If you found 6 or more, you already know. You've always known. You just needed someone to hold a mirror up